gentlemen, and a very warm welcome. I'm Rebecca Watkins, your host for this evening, and I'm truly honored to welcome you all to the 10th edition of Indian Innovation Icons 2025, Marico Innovation Foundation's biennial platform that recognizes currently hidden and potentially game-changing Indian innovations that are creating a socio-economic or environmental impact. To kick off proceedings this evening, please join me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Amit Chandra, Honorary Chairperson. A round of applause, please, for Mr. Chandra.
Thank you, Rebecca. It's such a pleasure for me to welcome each one of you today to the 10th anniversary of India Innovation Icons. Over the past 9 editions, Marico Innovation Foundation has played the role of a beacon, identifying and celebrating currently hidden and potentially game-changing Indian innovations. It is truly wonderful to see such a healthy mix of industry leaders, youngsters who are keen followers of innovation, and professionals in the audience today. To you, we present today this platform with a refreshed identity, one that celebrates iconic Indian innovations and innovators. Friends, Albert Einstein famously said, if you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always wanted. Innovation is therefore the life force of any progressive nation, even more so in a country like India, which is on the journey of being Viksit Bharat before it turns 100 years old. A more inclusive nation that is an economic superpower. This force has been gathering serious momentum every year over the past decade, as is evident from the massive 63% jump in applications for awards this year. Friends, we received an overwhelming 1,170 applications this year, with both business and social categories growing at the same rate. In terms of interesting trends, what this means is that climate innovations have increased 2.5 times and comprise 13% of business applications, a clear response to sustainability. Service innovations have reached 14%, showing how entrepreneurs are capitalizing on digital transformation as a team. In the social innovation space, education is far outstripping health as a dominant sector, commanding 43% of applications, with entrepreneurs leveraging technology and AI to create scalable solutions for universal learning. And the focus now is on community empowerment and gender equity. Together, they're over half of applications, representing a growing trend that social impact and business success can actually go hand in hand. These awards have become really popular. And it's not just because they were really pioneering in concept when Harsh started them, but a big role has been played by the winners in being carefully vetted by our partners via an exhaustive diligence process, and then presented to what is a truly stellar independent jury comprising of industry leaders who give a very substantial amount of their time. We met across 2 rounds of jury deliberations in late 2024 to identify what you will see are the most impactful innovations driving change across India. It is therefore no surprise that many of our winners go on to accomplish great things over time. So let me now move you on to the most exciting segment of today, the showcasing of our winners. Their stories will inspire you with hope and optimism for an India that is capable of solving its most urgent challenges through innovation and impact. Come, let's together celebrate the passion, the bold ambition that unites these diverse set of winners on their journey to becoming Indian innovation icons. Thank you.
Our first winner tonight is Rocket Learning from the social category. Please join me in welcoming co-founder Azeez Gupta to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Azeez, and that's my little daughter, Rumi. Over the past year, every evening, we've explored stories, solved puzzles, and hunted for objects around the house. It's become our own little world of discovery. Moments like these are probably familiar. You would have done that with children, grandchildren, nephews, and nieces. But here's something remarkable about play in the early years. It's literally creating children's futures. In fact, a full 85% of brain development happens by the age of 6. That means 2 hours of daily stimulation at this age builds problem solving, builds teamwork and self-regulation, what we all know of as intelligence. But unfortunately, half of Indian children cannot recite a single alphabet or number by the age of 6. This is largely because their caregivers haven't had the resources or the knowledge to effectively engage with children in learning. And for the children who don't get that, because so much neural stimulation is happening at this age, it's nearly impossible to reverse the lag later. Take Shivani, for instance, my best friend in preschool growing up. I remember Shivani as a very bright and precocious child, but one who was endlessly frustrated. Her parents cared about her, but left her education to the professionals in preschool. And in school, it was a very different story because our teacher was overwhelmed, and she thought her job was to make sure that the 20 children in her care were silent and in their seats all day long, shutting down all questions. And Shivani, she obviously suffered. When I connected with her many years later on Facebook, her spark was gone. Negative experiences and the lack of early stimulation had dulled her curiosity, and she spent the years since just trying to get through the day, keeping her head down. You know what's so heartbreaking about this? Not just that my friend lost out on her potential, but that India has 8 crore children who are at the risk of losing out on life ever before they step foot into a primary classroom. How is that fair in any world? Right now, India's average IQ is stuck at 87, a whopping 10 points behind the USA and Europe. Not because we're less capable, obviously, but because we're failing our youngest minds in the years that matter the most. And that's why at Rocket Learning, our goal is to help give every child the experiences that they need to thrive, both in school and in life. We want to give food for their brains. The idea was simple. We needed a tech-enabled solution that could engage a child's imagination and intelligence in real life. It had to be simple enough that anyone could use it, but powerful enough to be able to build these foundational skills. And so that's why we turned to our trusty friend, the WhatsApp group. Every day, over WhatsApp, we're sending 2-minute videos to caregivers with simple activities that they can do with the children at home or in school. These activities build on observation, curiosity, problem solving. For example, sorting between 3 different kinds of dal, or finding 5 red objects around the house. And to scale this, we've partnered with the world's largest daycare network, India's very own Anganwadi system. And that's allowed us to scale to 40 lakh children in the last 5 years. Parents and teachers are joining the WhatsApp groups. They share back photos and videos of what they did with the child that day, cheer each other on, and build habits together. Our staff spread across 140 districts of India train the Anganwadi workers in real life. And to keep engagement high, we're sending digital badges and personalized feedback via AI tools. So think of it as Duolingo meeting Gen AI. And that's the future, right? But all of this costs us just less than $2 per child per year. So what does this all mean? It means that we're looking at a paradigm shift in the early years in our homes and classrooms. Rocket Learning's impact is visible in 2 clear ways. Firstly, cognitive development of children. 80% of children in our classrooms and Anganwadi centers are able to recognize and describe pictures and solve puzzles by the age of 6. This compares to the national average of just 50%. In addition, we're seeing a massive cultural revolution coming up in our homes and in our classrooms. Parents and teachers are spending double the amount of time on learning with their children as they used to in the past. And because of these reasons, we've become the chosen organization to work with the Government of India and 10 state governments. We helped write the national curriculum, the first ever national curriculum for 0 to 6-year-olds, and have helped conceptualize and launch India's first modern early years policy, Poshan Bhi and Padhai Bhi. By 2030, we want to make sure, and our dream is that half of India's neediest children should be able to get the platform that they need to thrive in life. That's 4 crore children in Anganwadis across India. But we can't do this alone. Let's join together in giving every Shivani a better launchpad for her future so that she never has to fall behind. And let's join together in making India's next generation the smartest in the world. Because at the end of the day, all that this whole room wants is what's best for each and every child. So let's take a look at the video and see what's happening on the ground.
In India, 4 crore children start class 1 without recognizing a single letter or number.
And that's worrying because 85% of brain development happens before the age of 6. What kids experience in these early years shapes the way they learn. Unfortunately, underserved areas often lack the tools required for a strong start.
And that's where Rocket Learning steps in by sending out short, play-based videos and stories, making learning interactive and playful, and transforming everyday moments into hands-on teaching opportunities.
We started over 4 years ago, and today we're working with 2 lakh Anganwadi workers and over 30 lakh parents.
And for its commitment to transforming early education, Rocket Learning is the proud winner of Marico Innovation Foundation's Indian Innovation Icons 2025.
So ladies and gentlemen, our second winner this evening is Skyroot Aerospace from the business category. Please put your hands together and welcome co-founder Pawan, Kumar, Chandana to the stage.
Good evening. Hello, everybody. My name is Pawan, and I do rocket science for a living. And if you asked my younger self that one day I would stand on this stage talking about launching rockets to space, I would have definitely laughed. Not because I've not dreamt of it. Of course, every kid would dream of becoming an astronaut or launching rockets to space. But I felt it's very far-fetched at that point of time. I grew up in a very humble family. My dad was a government servant. My mom was a homemaker. And building big companies and launching rockets to space was not a priority. And then each time I saw a rocket launch on TV, I mean, that countdown, that roar, that raw power of breaking free, I mean, that felt like magic to me. And I immediately wanted to be part of it. And then that dream took me straight to Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO as we all know of it. And I was fortunate to be part of some of the ambitious space missions of India. And my co-founder, Bharat, was on a similar path. And we were right there in the space industry, building the future. And the more we worked, the more we realized a frustrating reality, that space is accessible to a very limited few. I mean, just imagine, like, each time you use Google Maps or track your online order or stream a live cricket match, you're actually using space technology, which is enabled by satellites in orbit. And then the more we realized that there is a big gap, because last decade, there are around 3,800 satellites which were launched, and this decade, it is estimated that more than 30,000 satellites will be launched to orbit. And we need more and more rockets to launch them, different kinds of rockets to launch them, and that was a bottleneck which we thought we need to solve. And then in 2018, me and Bharat, we started Skyroot Aerospace with one mission to make space open and accessible to everybody. And this was never done before in the space sector, that too coming from the private industry. And then we knew that we had to make our mark. We need a great milestone. It is one of its kind of opportunity in our life. And I still remember on November 18th, 2022, at 11:30 a.m., a moment I can never forget in my life, we've successfully launched the Vikram S, India's first private sector rocket to space, very successfully. And the rocket was lighter, faster, more efficient. And it just took us 2 years to develop the rocket in record time. And then that was just a beginning. And we are building on-demand rockets, which can bring wait times for satellites from years to months. And we are building rockets as tall as 7-storied buildings, double the size of this auditorium, which will launch satellites to orbit this year. And then our aspiration is to launch humans and cargo to space regularly. Maybe one day your grandchildren will book a trip to space just like we book flights today. And that's the future we want to create. And even now, people ask me, why space? We have so many problems right now here on Earth, so why look up? And my answer is very simple. Space is never a distraction from Earth. Space is actually the key to improving lives on Earth. It will give internet to 50% of the world population. It will help farmers irrigate their crops better. It will help fishermen find their right shoals of fish and create tremendous impact on Earth right here. And then that's exactly what we want to do at Skyroot. And we want to open space for everybody. And we want space to be as open as the oceans, as accessible as the skies. And we are doing it right from India, one rocket at a time, one breakthrough at a time, and one crazy, impossible dream at a time. Thank you.
What if launching a satellite was as easy as booking a cab?
That's exactly what we're trying to do at Skyroot with our on-demand rocket launches. At Skyroot Aerospace, we're opening space for all.
Whether it is for startups, nations or research missions, you name it and we launch it.
With carbon composites, 3D printed engines and rapid manufacturing, Skyroot Aerospace is making spaceflight efficient and affordable, where our rockets can be launch ready within days.
3, 2, 1, liftoff.
In 2022, we made history with India's first private rocket launch.
And now in 2025, Vikram 1 is set to take its first flight. Opening space for faster internet, smarter agriculture, safer weather predictions and beyond.
For making space accessible to all, Skyroot Aerospace is the proud winner of Marico Innovation Foundation's Indian Innovation Icons 2025.
Our third winner this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is Chara Technologies from the business category. Please join me in welcoming the co-founder, Bhaktha, Keshavachar, to the stage.
Wow, this is amazing. Namaskar. Good evening. My name is Bhaktha Keshavachar. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Chara Technologies. We are revolutionizing electric motors. Just to find out how we are doing that, just you have to listen to my story for a little bit. I worked in tech and entrepreneurship for about 3 decades, both across US and India. I have built companies, sold them, lost money, made money, all of that. At this stage in my life and career, as you can see, I'm an old and bald guy. I wanted to work on a difficult problem with wider impact. And that is when I made one observation. As a country, as a society, we are not paying attention to deep tech and core technologies. Take the example of electric mobility. The whole world is transitioning towards that. And so are we, which is good. But the amount of level of innovation in the core technologies that go into an electric vehicle is very limited. And that is what made me think long and hard. We have to do something revolutionary in electric mobility. And this led to me to the concept of the motor. And motors are used in all electric vehicles. And when I looked into the motor, I found something rather concerning. And this is that. This is the neodymium magnet. I'm pretty sure most of you have heard about it. It's also called a rare earth magnet. And this is what generates the torque in the motor. And this is what makes the world go around, at least the electrical world. Globally, extracting rare earth metals has been problematic and expensive because they generally occur with radioactive elements. Just to put things in perspective, extracting 1 ton of rare earths generates 2,000 tons of toxic radioactive waste. Not good for us. And in addition to this, our friendly neighbor China has 90% control over the supply chain. And this led to the big question, can we find a better alternative? Unfortunately, I have 2 brilliants here in the audience, my co-founders, Maha and Ravi. Together, we built Chara. Chara stands for motion in Sanskrit. And for us, this was just not another business idea. It was also the freedom from rare earths, supply chain, freedom from environmental destruction, and freedom to build a cleaner and a brighter future right here in India. And every part of our motor, the IP, the design, the production, and all the materials that go into the construction of the motor happens right here in India. And that has created large impact. We have created jobs, not only in engineering, in production, in manufacturing. Till now, we have built 6 motors and matching controllers, which are used in various applications, 2-wheelers, 3-wheelers, obvious targets, and more importantly, agricultural equipment, industrial equipment, and very interestingly, we have a couple of defense customers. They like our motors because we are not dependent on foreign countries for critical materials. But what makes our motor really stand out is that they are as efficient in generating the power and torque of any motor in this world today. All the while reducing 30% reduction in carbon footprint at the time of manufacture. 20% cost efficiency, and 0% rare earth metals. And this is just not theory. We have real proof. Take Bulwark, for example. Bulwark is a company based out of Bangalore, manufacturing tractors and loaders, electric, of course. And they had trouble in precision control of their existing motors. We jumped right in, made a custom solution, and we solved their problems overnight. And it was a huge success, and we have a huge repeat order spanning across their product portfolio. And these are not the only ones, not only in India. The world has taken notice. We're already shipping motors to Belgium, Italy, US, and Japan. Based on the track we are on, by the end of the decade, we will be shipping about 1 million motors, saving 500,000 kilograms of rare earths for this planet. That is equivalent to planting 10 million trees. That's a huge impact for us. But our mission isn't just about eliminating rare earths. It's about making India a world leader in core technologies. For me personally, independence was not what we got 75 years ago. It's about owning our future. Please come and join us in building an Atmanirbhar future, wherein in this future, India will not only adapt to change, but will drive the change. Thank you.
World loves rare things, but rare earth metals in our motors? Team Chara says,
No thanks.
instead of using expensive, environmentally unsustainable and hard to source rare earth metals, Chara's motors rely on the push and pull of electromagnets and magnetic steel to create motion, also known as SynRM technology. The result?
Our motors are 40% more efficient than the existing industrial motors and 10% more efficient than the existing permanent magnet-based traction motors, all using sustainable, recyclable, and localizable materials.
We are also 20% more cost-effective, helping industries like agriculture and healthcare adopt sustainable solutions effortlessly.
We manufacture new generation motors which have got 30% lesser carbon footprint.
All backed by scalable systems and cutting-edge proprietary control algorithms. For their revolutionary contribution to sustainable engineering, Chara Technologies is the proud winner of Marico Innovation Foundation's Indian Innovation Icons 2025.
So ladies and gentlemen, our fourth winner this evening is AssisTech Foundation from the social category. Please join me in welcoming co-founder Prateek Madhav to the stage.
Good evening. My name is Prateek. I run AssisTech Foundation, India's first tech startup ecosystem focused on people with disabilities. And believe it or not, my life changed because of a cricket match. The year was 2012. India and Pakistan T20 World Cup finals. The only difference is that it was the first ever T20 World Cup final for the blind. And in case, if you are wondering, of course, India won it, beating Pakistan in final. Well, globally, there are 1.4 billion people with disabilities in this world. That's 1 in 8 of us. Then why are they so invisible to us? Because that's the thing about disability. It's everywhere, yet somehow invisible. When I started volunteering for people with disabilities, I found a community which was brimming with hope and aspiration. While on the other hand, my corporate friends who had all the resources complained about everything. And the contrast really hit me very hard. So in 2015, I took a leap. I left my corporate career to become a CEO of a disability-focused organization. In just 1 year, we grew the organization 40%, expanding it globally and setting up 15 centers of skilling for people with disabilities. But something bigger was brewing. Technology was changing our world. It was soon becoming a force multiplier, helping us create scalable impact. And most importantly, in those years, I also realized that technology did not discriminate between disabled and non-disabled, while people did always. That's why in 2018, we launched AssisTech Foundation, ATF, with a goal to have the most powerful ecosystem for disability tech. I'm really happy to share with you today, we work with 450 tech startups in the country. Like NeoMotion, the creators of NeoBolt and NeoFly, who's making users like Justin go around and meeting his parents without depending on anyone. Incredible, right? But building a product is not as same as making it available to people with disabilities. And that's where we came in. NeoMotion had the idea. We helped them turn it around into a movement by giving them market access through government, CSR partners. We've even built a platform called Adidwara, an online marketplace where buying assistive technology is going to be as simple as buying a book. And guess what? Our efforts even got NeoMotion a spot in Shark Tank. Now today, thousands of people with disability use NeoMotion products. A similar story happened with Trestle Lab Kibo, a device which converts printed text in a real-time audio. For Dipali, who lost her eyesight at 17, Kibo meant everything. For completing her education, getting a job, and also recently, I'm told, she bought a house for her parents. How cool is that? But for Kibo to reach a lot more people like Dipali, it needed scale. So we brought in exactly that by bringing a lot of mentor around them. We've even helped Trestle to win the prestigious Universal Design Award, which is recognition for their contribution in making education accessible for visually impaired people. Kibo today is being used beyond boundaries in US, UK, Middle East, Africa, and Asia. In just 5 years, ATF has been able to impact 1 million lives. And I'm here to tell you, we're just getting started. In the world of startups, all of us know that India has created 110 unicorns in just last 1 decade, and we should be really, really proud of ourselves. In the space of development tech, we want ATF to be world's first impact unicorn, helping 1 billion people on this earth with disabilities. Thank you very much. And that's the valuation I and you would really care about, isn't it? So join us. I'm here to invite you to create a future where people with disabilities don't struggle, where Deepalis and Justins of the world live with dignity, and where we all cheer for World Cup cricket for the blind, irrespective of which country wins it. Thank you very much.
What if one idea could change 1 million lives? Now what if there were 500 such ideas? From visual to physical to speech intellectual. With 500 plus startups under its wing, AssisTech Foundation has made equal opportunities a reality for 9.1 lakh people with disabilities.
At AssisTech Foundation, we believe by leveraging assistive technology innovations, we aim to create inclusive learning, living and livelihood opportunities for people with disabilities, helping them contribute just as much as anyone else in the society.
ATF is an ecosystem enabler that brings together startups, disability experts, and global alliances to bring empathy-driven solutions.
Our goal is to enhance this impact to 5 more million people with disabilities in next 3 years.
For redefining inclusion as a right through innovation, AssisTech Foundation is the proud winner of Marico Innovation Foundation's Indian Innovation Icons 2025.
I'd now like to welcome our panelists to the stage. Masood Malik, Managing Director and Group CEO, Re-Sustainability Limited. Prabha Narasimhan, Managing Director and CEO, Colgate-Palmolive India Limited. And Harsh Mariwala, Chairman, Marico Limited and Founder, Marico Innovation Foundation. And of course, the moderator for this panel discussion, Anubha Bhosle, Founder, Newsworthy Studios. Let's welcome them with a round of applause.
Thanks so much, Jessica. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everybody. I think what's most exciting about this conversation tonight is that, yes, we're delving deep into a crucial topic, but we also have a solution in the offing, a solution that could possibly redefine how India manages its plastic waste. I think before I get into the conversation with our stellar panel, we'd like you to visualize the problem, so to speak. So let's play out that video and get you to see the challenge at hand.
Plastic is woven into the fabric of our daily lives. From the buttons on our shirts to the dashboards in our cars to the toys our children play with, plastic is indispensable. But the issue isn't plastic itself. It's how we use it and dispose of it. It's our failure to segregate and manage it properly, leading to inefficient processing. Recycling remains underdeveloped due to a lack of an integrated approach, inadequate infrastructure for waste collection and segregation, and minimal technological integration. The truth is, the cost of recycled plastic is higher than that of virgin plastic. The clock is ticking. Is this dream world possible?
Well, I think that's an apt question to start this panel with. Is this dream world possible? A possible where the future of plastic is not waste, but circularity? Prabha, I want to start this conversation with you. I think the challenge is clear, right? We'd like to know from you as to what's really at the heart of it. What are the big challenges for FMCG companies when it comes to balancing cost, scale, and sustainability, especially when it comes to plastic packaging? Because that's ubiquitous in a sense, right? I mean, that's at the heart of it. That's the biggest contributor to plastic waste.
Thank you very much, Anuba, and it's a pleasure to be here. I think I'm going to summarize this in maybe just a couple of points. Firstly, I think all responsible FMCG companies want to do something about this challenge. The second thing I think is legislation is pushing us towards doing something anyway. But where the biggest problem is in what we've labeled as the say-do gap, because consumers are telling us, do you want recyclability in your packaging? Do you want circularity? Yes, they do. Are you willing to pay for it? No, they're not. And therefore, this gap between what they want and what they're willing to pay for is really where everything falls apart. And therefore, the ability for us to create sustainable solutions that don't put a burden either on companies or consumers using wonderful technology and the wonderful thinking power, a lot of which has already been showcased, is perhaps the answer. And that's where we're looking at people like you to help.
Harsh, do you want to add anything to it? Because I think the question also is, how can we make sustainability this sort of advantage, this competitive advantage, this edge?
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me? Yeah. So I was saying that only 9% of plastics which are manufactured are recycled and reused. And there's a big, big gap, you know. We are seeing the impact of that on our environment, but there is a solution. That's what we are embarking upon. We did a study in the year 23 to identify plastic innovators, which got presented in the last awards. But we said to ourselves, that's not enough. What can we do? And that's how the team identified Masood and his company. And we are putting up a project, which is in the construction stage at this stage. And this project will go into operation within the by the end of this year. I will leave it to Masood to talk more about the project, but personally I can say that I'm very, very excited about this initiative. And it is showing very good financial returns also. If we are able to do so, then we have a huge opportunity of tackling the plastic waste on a national basis.
Okay, Masood, I think the cat's out of the bag, so to speak. But before you sort of tell us about this solution in the offering, so to speak, you stand on one line of this spectrum. What are the challenges that the recycling industry faces to do this at scale? And give us a hint of that solution in the offering.
No, absolutely. And a very good evening, everyone. I think scale itself is the first challenge. Most of recycling in India today is happening at a cottage scale. For something which is, a 10 million tons per annum problem, a cottage scale industry responding to it is clearly not the way. The second is technology. Most of recycling in India is actually downcycling, where the value of the product is actually lower than the virgin material. And finally, it is ecosystem fragmentation, where right from buying behaviors that you mentioned, to collection, to segregation, to the technologies that are being employed, the scale at which this is being attempted, the number of hands that material passes through, the lack of traceability, basically erodes value at every step. And therefore, it has not been something that has been considered as an easy problem to solve. And that's why, frankly, we are here to talk about all of what we are trying to do. And there's a small video that I thought would cue up the conversation for the rest of this panel. Can we have the video, please?
Sounds good.
Introducing Recircularity Private Limited, a pioneering joint venture between Resustainability Limited, Asia's leading waste management organization, and Sharp Ventures, the family investment office of Harsh Mariwala. At Recircularity, we revolutionize plastic circularity in India through an integrated approach. Our state-of-the-art facilities in Hyderabad, operational by early 2026, will produce high-quality recycled plastic using advanced AI-enabled sorting and global standard washing lines. We are setting new benchmarks by aiming for global standards while keeping costs competitive with virgin plastics. Our strength lies in the partnership between a major waste management organization and FMCG industry mentorship. With high-quality feedstock access, deep social and community integration, advanced technology deployment, and Marico Innovation Foundation's guidance, we are uniquely positioned to redefine waste management and lead the plastic circularity market in India. Our impact extends beyond recycling. In the first year of operations, we will divert 32,000 tons of waste from landfills, reduce 15,000 tons of CO2 emissions, producing 9,000 tons of recycled HDPE and PP, and create over 370 direct jobs with a focus on empowering women. Through awareness campaigns, we will engage a mix of residential, commercial and informal communities, fostering behavioral change towards a zero-waste circular model. At Recircularity, we have embarked on a transformative journey, starting with our state-of-the-art facilities in Hyderabad. But this is just the beginning. Our vision is expansive. We aim to replicate our success across multiple locations, bringing sustainable, high-quality recycled plastics to communities nationwide. Together, we can make the world a truly better place. The journey starts now. Join us.
Congratulations to you, Mr. Mariwala, and to Masood. Tell us a little more about Recircularity. What makes it unique, and how it's going to solve some of the problem statements that you yourselves have outlined?
No, absolutely. We took each of those problem statements and made them the defining characteristic of this partnership. Scale. You saw that's our pilot scale, 32,000 tons in the first year. That is the response that we are sort of addressing towards, given the enormity of the problem. Technology, we've got the best innovators from across the world, but also some amazing startups from India, like Ishitwa, who are partnering with us to bring local innovation to this problem. But most importantly, ecosystem integration, where starting right at home, this venture starts at behavior change at home as a key element of the business proposition itself. We will be not just understanding the composition of waste, we will be identifying what brands are there in your bin. Because we believe that it's one of the ways that we can start the circularity traceability value proposition. We will be building a pilot project in Hyderabad and then replicating that at scale. Next city is Raipur. And we believe that cities like Hyderabad and Raipur and the learnings from these cities will allow us to scale from these 2 plants to 22 plants. And I think through both integration, through technology, and through a partnership for the very first time between the upstream, people who actually generate the waste, the midstream, people who actually collect the waste, and the downstream, which is the FMCG companies who actually would use the recycled material, having a partnership where there is not just a client, a vendor type partnership, but actually, equity partnership. I think that's a game changer for this industry.
Prabhat, do you want to weigh in on that? Because for any initiative of this nature to be successful, there has to be a collaborative approach. FMCG companies are obviously one big stakeholder. There are many others, consumers included. From all that you've sort of heard so far, what do you think the two sides should keep in mind?
So I think one of the things that will require different behavior here is we're used to usually being in competition with each other. But in this instance, one can only win if everybody wins. You can't have one company doing it and another company not doing it, because I think then the midstream, it really does cause chaos. I think the second thing is, given how new the technology is and how much everybody is learning, it can't be driven by one set of people. Up, mid, down, it has to be, again, a collaboration. And like I started with, I think every responsible FMCG company certainly wants this to get better. So the intent is there, and I think when the intent is there, the capability is there, that's really, there's nothing much stopping us then to make progress.
Okay. Mr. Mariwala, you want to tell us about the next steps and how this would go forward?
See, I am very excited, as I said. This is just a prototype. That 50 crore investments which you're going to put up in Hyderabad is going to process only 1% of Hyderabad's waste. So if this project is successful, then Masood is absolutely confident that it is showing financial returns which are as attractive as any other project. If that is the case, then we can roll out similar projects which will require thousands of crores of investment all over India. Mm-hmm. So this is a prototype which has to be successful, and me and my team are putting all our efforts to ensure that this happens.
You're tireless, Mr. Mariwala. You've built companies that have sort of changed industries, and I'm curious to know, what is it that led you to put all this time, money, energy, and the role of Marico Innovation Foundation in this?
See, we use a lot of plastics, and one of the reasons why Marico has been successful is that we innovated in packaging long time back, when we converted the whole market from tin to plastics. But whenever I talked about the innovation at any event, invariably I would get a question that, what are you doing about the plastic wastage? So that was really hurting me a lot. And then the team developed this report, and after that we identified Masood, and we decided to put out the project. So there is a deeper connection, because we are using so much plastics which is going into the environment. Can we play a role in ensuring that we are able to collect a lot of plastic which goes into the environment? And this project is very different. Masood, if you can describe, there are some other recycling projects I know in MRF facilities in Bombay and many others, but we are doing it a very, very different technology and a different scale.
Do you want to quickly add to that, Masood?
Yes, I think we are starting, like I said, directly at the homes. We are focusing on source segregation as a key element of the project itself. We are focusing on understanding within each part of the city what brands are represented in the waste that is being generated. From there, actually having one entity responsible, an inclusion platform where all the so-called informal sector comes on board as a part of the same organization to bring that material from the homes all the way to our MRFs and to our recycling centers. And then finally ensuring that that same material has the ability, that blue HDPE has the ability one day to become another parachute bottle. With that traceability, that has never been possible. And to do that at scale, and I'm talking about industrial scale, not a pilot or a demonstration, but we are talking about, like I said, 32,000 tons is the capacity for our first project itself. Now, given the scale of the challenge, this needs to be many, many times more. Okay. And therefore, I think the opportunity.
Okay. So turning plastic into opportunity, I'll leave it there, but thank you very much. A big, big congratulations, and I'm sure there are many here who could play a part in that opportunity. Thank you very much.
Our fifth winner this evening is Indra Water from the business category. Please join me in welcoming co-founder Krunal Patel to the stage.
In 2018, a farmer in Surat turned on the tap to his irrigation pond, irrigation tank, and froze. What he saw was unclear water. It wasn't just muddy water, it was bright orange polluted water. Bright orange. It was in that moment the farmer realized water, the very source of our life, was under attack. Now, why was this farmer's borewell picking up polluted water all of a sudden? The answer was in the industrial belt that had sprung up nearby. The factories there were using a practice known as reverse boring, letting untreated effluent back into the ground, polluting our freshwater reserves. For many of them, treating their wastewater the conventional way, using harsh chemicals and bacterial agents, was inefficient, expensive, and frankly, just a hassle. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Krunal. This is my co-founder, Amrit. Together, we started Indra Water, where we believed there had to be a better, smarter way to treat water. For Amrit and I, water shaped our lives very differently. I grew up visiting factories with my father, where the stench from effluent treatment plants always bothered me. While for Amrit, water was often a luxury. His family had to plan their days around filling up buckets. It was a daily struggle. Years later, Amrit and I met at the University of Washington in Seattle. Among many things, we connected over our love for automobiles. We were truly fascinated with the precise, structured world of auto manufacturing, where we had experienced the power of standardization, the power of modularity, and most importantly, the power of electricity. When we got the opportunity to work in the field of water, seeing existing solutions anguished us, just didn't make sense. Then we pondered the way cars were transitioning from fossil fuels to cleaner electricity. What if we could bring the same kind of a revolution into water treatment? That was our Henry Ford moment. So we developed Electrox, our patented, non-contact, microelectrolysis-based wastewater treatment technology. Electrox removes some of the most stubborn, tough-to-treat pollutants with a simple impact of electricity. Our process does this in just a few seconds compared to hours in conventional alternatives. And we are already seeing it transform industries. Take a jeans processing factory in NCR, for example. The factory was only able to operate for a single shift due to limited water supply and an inefficient wastewater management system. After installing Electrox, we were able to treat and recover 90% from the wastewater, sending it back for process reuse. This meant that the factory that was using 8,000 liters to process a single pair of jeans, yes, 8,000 liters for a single pair. With the help of Electrox, the factory was using the same 8,000 liters to process 10 pairs of jeans. That's a 10-fold impact. This eventually led to the factory doubling its production capacity, in fact, even hiring additional workforce to keep up. But we are not just saving water, we are also saving space. The conventional wastewater treatment plants are massive, sometimes even the size of this auditorium. Ours, for the same capacity, it's compact enough to comfortably fit on this stage. In a typical 3-acre factory, that's about 10,000 square feet of space that is unlocked. Imagine the value of that space in a place like Noida. Imagine the potential for the business to expand and scale up. In fact, our focus on scalability makes our modules even more accessible. A factory owner can start off small and later add on as and when he grows. For us, manufacturing and stacking our reactors, simple, just like a battery pack on an assembly line. This kind of a scalability was something unheard of in the water treatment business. Over the past 6 years, we have treated 2.5 billion liters of wastewater. It's almost half the capacity of Mumbai's Powai Lake. And we are just getting started. In the next 5 years, we plan to treat over 500 billion liters, impacting over 10 million lives. Now, this is not just about one factory or one farmer. It's about ensuring that anyone, anywhere in India, when they turn on their tap, they get clean water and not industrial waste. It's about giving our industries the necessary tools to grow faster, smarter, without impacting the environment, but that too at an attractive return on investment. It's about treating water with the care it deserves. For water, it's not just life. It's our future currency. I invite you all to join us on our journey, to join on Indra's mission to building a water-secure future for all. Thank you.
Could you fit all of this in just one closet? That's exactly what Team Indra has achieved.
Well, kind of.
They have shrunk this enormous wastewater treatment plant into just 50 square feet.
And it's all thanks to our patented process, Electrox, a game-changing process that zaps pollutants. creating supercharged molecules that cleans water instantly. Going from this to this in just a few seconds. But what truly sets our product apart is that it is modular, scalable, and upgradable. And it's a true plug-and-play solution for an industry that's never seen anything like it before. From chemical factories to luxury hotels, Indra is already cleaning water efficiently across industries.
For revolutionizing water treatment in India, Indra is the proud winner of Marico Innovation Foundation's Indian Innovation Icons 2025.
So ladies and gentlemen, our sixth winner this evening is Astrome Technologies from the business category. I'd like you to please join me in welcoming co-founder Dr. Prasad Bhat to the stage.
I'm Dr. Prasad Bhat, and I'm the co-founder of Astrome Technologies. I'm a scientist and an engineer. While I'm mostly comfortable at my lab, I'm also excited to be here and talk to you about what we do at Astrome. To begin with, I would like to ask a quiz. Can you guess, out of 100 people in urban India, how many are internet subscribers? The answer is a whopping 110, which means that many of you are already having more than one internet connection. But now, can you guess, out of 100 people in rural India, how many are internet subscribers? The answer, unfortunately, is an underwhelming 40. That's a huge gap. Now, isn't that surprising? Isn't that surprising that we have one of the best and lowest cost internet accesses across the globe, but still we have such a situation? Now, why is that? The answer is hidden underground. So underground lies a complex infrastructure of fiber optic cables. These fiber optic cables have to be carefully physically laid and constantly maintained. And for telecom companies, expanding them into rural and remote areas isn't worth the cost. So my co-founder, Dr. Neha Satak, and I asked ourselves a simple question. How do we fix this uneven distribution? If fiber optic cable is like a highway, can we create a superhighway, a wireless one? And that's exactly what we did. In 2015, Neha and I started Astrome, the first company in India to build a wireless technology, wireless backhaul solution from ground up, and providing basically a broadband-like capacity in places where traditional fiber networks can't reach. And we did it with our groundbreaking solution called GigaMesh. GigaMesh is a wireless broadband solution which extends broadband internet to unconnected or remote areas from fiber-connected areas, all without laying a single wire. And it's faster, it's easier to deploy, and very easy to maintain as well, compared to traditional fiber networks. But we are going one step further with GigaSat, which is being field tested as we speak. This is a satellite-powered internet solution which will make internet accessible even on an island or an off-grid community or even for a remote military base. And our long-term vision is SpaceNet, which is a constellation of satellites which will give always-on internet all across the globe. Now, that said, we all know how internet can change lives. Take Sompura, a village which is just 50 kilometers from Bangalore. It's not too far, but in terms of opportunities, it is worlds apart. People of Sompura had to live with patchy internet. Students struggled to access online classes. And even the farmers could not access all of the market rates so that they can sell their produce at the best rates. The challenges were very real. But with just 1 gigamesh unit deployed at Sompura, now they all have access to a fast 500 Mbps internet connection, instant access to a world of possibilities. And because gigamesh is wireless, we can ensure connectivity even in extreme weather conditions. Fiber optic cables simply snap in extreme weathers, such as at 12,700 feet on the way to Amarnath Shrine. Access to reliable connectivity can be the difference between how a rescue operation would go, whether it will go right or wrong. All of this we do at just 1/5 the cost of traditional fiber networks, without months of installation effort or expensive maintenance or even the roadblocks. Our mission is to reach 5,000 plus villages in the next few years. Join us in creating a future where every person in every corner of the world is connected, not just by dreams, but also by reliable and strong internet. Thank you.
What do mountains, deserts, and forests have in common? They are all internet dead zones. Until these two brilliant minds build Gigamesh. While the world is still tangled up in fiber optic cables, Astrome's revolutionary technology transforms a single device into a hub, creating multiple high-speed connections using radio waves, specifically in E-band.
It's like connecting dots on a map, where each Astrome's link will act as a bridge to the next link. This helps in establishing strong connectivity in hard-to-reach remote areas, without having to dig up roads and laying cables.
Astrome has already connected 20 plus villages in Karnataka, bridging remote communities to essential digital services. They are also helping defense forces be mission ready with seamless communication in rugged terrains. With plans to expand to 1,000 more remote locations in the next 5 years, Astrome stands as the proud winner of Marico Innovation Foundation's Indian Innovation Icons 2025.
And ladies and gentlemen, our 7th winner this evening is People's Archive of Rural India from the social category. Please join me in welcoming the executive editor, Preeti David.
Hello. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to try and do the impossible. Talk to you and draw your attention to the single largest and most diverse part of rural India, which is the people in our villages. It's a place that 1 million people in India call home. Good evening, I'm Preeti David and I represent the People's Archive of Rural India, or PARI as we are known. We cover rural India and the people from within it, languages, livelihoods, cultures and communities. 5 minutes is a very short time, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'll dive right in by asking you to take a few seconds and look at your fingers. Actually, your fingerprints to be more precise. The gateway to a world of digital opportunities. Now give it a minute and think that what if you didn't have those fingerprints? What would life really be like? That's the story of Parvati Devi that I want to share with you today. Parvati Devi was a waste picker in Lucknow city. All she wanted was an Aadhaar card. But when leprosy took away her fingers, this 50-year-old mother of 6 had no fingerprints. Without fingerprints, there was no Aadhaar. Without Aadhaar, there was no opportunity to access her PDS rations. Manrega was not possible. Even a disability allowance from the government was not an option for her anymore. Now, Parvati was a migrant from Bihar. She had spent 30 years of her life sorting through garbage, plastic, iron, wet waste, and so on, until leprosy robbed her of her job. She could no longer work. So in March 2018, PARI published the story of Parvati Devi. Just 4 months later, the story of Parvati and many thousands of people like her who had no fingerprints was mentioned in a dissenting note by the then Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, who said that Aadhaar should not be mandatory for people wanting to access government benefits. We got Parvati's story center stage. We got Parvati the attention that her story deserved. As we did, Thank you. As we do hundreds of stories every year on people like Parvati, people of our land who don't have access to the media, who don't get onto national media, whose stories rarely get told. These are ordinary people leading everyday lives, but whose stories rarely get told. Pari brings you these stories and the people in them. Now, you might be thinking, why rural India? Why are we so focused on rural India? Well, very simply, it's a continent within a country. It's enormous. There are almost 1 billion people call it home. And much of what we know as rural today is disappearing. In 25 to 30 years from now, these schools of weaving, some of these languages, many of these livelihoods will disappear. We will no longer be able to find them. Rural India will simply become a place from which free, abundant labor, sorry, not free, cheap labor is freely available for us. The 2011 census says that 2 out of 3 Indians mentions a village in India as their home. Who are these people? They are your driver, your cook, the carpenters who build the stage. They are the people who build our cities, the millions of construction labor who build our cities, but who never get a chance to live in them. They are people like Parvati, who sort through our garbage every day, but whose struggles we rarely get to hear about. So I want to ask you, our media covers India's billionaires every day. But where are the stories of these billion Indians who are leading everyday ordinary lives against tremendous odds, overcoming challenges with great dignity and resilience? We want to draw people into their stories. And so we publish not just in English, but in 14 Indian languages, because we want more people in the conversation, not just English-speaking classes, right? In December 2024, Pari turned 10. In our first decade, we have won, thank you, we have won 79 national and international awards. Our work has covered the social, economic, cultural transformation happening in our country, the disappearing crafts, farmer protests, climate change, women's health, education. But that's not all. We also carry reports in our Pari library section on how is rural India faring in the basic amenities of education, water, sanitation, and so on. We have a robust Pari education section which takes these stories to schools and universities so that young people get to know more about rural India, and it's not just some reality happening in a village. And finally, how are we doing all this? We are doing this without a paywall. You don't need to subscribe to Pari to read its stories. We are doing it without government funds. We are doing it with donations from trusts and individuals like you who believe that the work we do is critical to the democratic, social, and economic, cultural health of our country. We are not doing it alone. You are doing it with us. Pari is recording the pulse of rural India. We are recording the soul of our villages. We need your help to keep going. Thank you.
What makes rural India one of the most diverse regions on the planet? It is home to nearly 1 billion people speaking over 800 languages across 95 regions.
The People's Archive of Rural India, or PARI, covers farmers, laborers, workers, weavers, potters, artists, fisherfolk. We cover climate change, the photography of protest, and the poetry of resistance. In the last 10 years, the content on PARI has come from over 1,400 contributors, putting together more than 2,000 text articles in 15 languages. And hundreds of videos, songs, and other forms of journalistic content.
For amplifying these voices, Pari is the proud winner of Marico Innovation Foundation's Indian Innovation Icons 2025.
So we now move on to the Global Game Changer category. This recognition goes to the National Payments Corporation of India for their revolutionary impact on the digital payments landscape. Please join me in welcoming Dilip Asbe, Managing Director and CEO, NPCI, to the stage.
I would like to thank the Marico Innovation Foundation, Governing Council, the board and the management team to give this award to NPCI. NPCI started in 2009. RBI started this institution. RBI told the leading banks to invest into this organization and start this organization. It's a not-for-profit organization. What it means, it can make the profits, but has to redeploy back in creating more infrastructure. All the leading banks came together and built this institution. They not only they contributed with the capital, but they also sent some of the officers to kind of kickstart the institution. So that's how NPCI started in 2010. We started with some of the innovative products. And I would like to thank our founding CEO, Mr. Hota, to have this innovation DNA right from the beginning. 2010, we launched IMPS, our first of its kind real-time payment systems. You could transfer the fund from one account to the other account in 10 seconds. Everybody was asking that what is the need. First 2 years, only NPCI employees were using it to send money to each other's account, but slowly the ecosystem understood the value of real-time payments. NPCI being not-for-profit, these kind of institutions lag behind on 3 things. One is they don't cater to efficiency. They don't pay enough attention on whether they are innovating enough or not. And third is, as they continue to grow, whether they are able to pass back the economies of scale to the ecosystem. And NPCI board monitors NPCI, very professional board monitors NPCI very clearly on all 3 parameters on an annual basis. And that's why NPCI is able to constantly innovate, reduce the price per transaction what we process. After 2014, we thought that India needs a system which kind of leverages the JAM Trinity, which was envisaged by Honorable Prime Minister. And NPCI then, along with the banks, ecosystem, fintechs, startups, iSpirit, with the guidance by Mr. Nandan Nilekani, we started UPI conversations. And we built UPI. UPI today processes around 17 billion consumer-initiated transactions on a monthly basis. We do about 15 billion APIs on a real-time basis with the ecosystem. It's a mammoth infrastructure, and I believe that after social media, we would be the largest traffic in terms of API on any central platform. However, I still feel that, UPI is just started. As a country like ours, we must aspire to process 100 to 150 billion transactions a month, and that needs, more innovation, more support from RBI, the government, and the banks and the ecosystem. The global game of UPI is also just started about 2 years back. We have started a subsidiary called NPCI International, and last 2 years, about 7 countries, we have built a cross-border pipes, which means that the Indian customer can actually go there and transact using UPI or RuPay cards. We have also built the infrastructure. We are in the process of building the infrastructure for 5 countries now. The UAE, Mauritius, Peru, Namibia, Trinidad and Tobago has taken up the stack which has been built by NPCI. So that's again a long-term game, but it's started, and our objective is to build at least 30 countries bilateral pipes, so that while we are domestically self-sufficient, we are also self-sufficient on the cross-border transaction if India has to become the global superpower in next 20 years. Once again, I would like to thank the Marico Innovation Foundation, and I would like to receive the award on behalf of the entire ecosystems and stakeholders, which is government, RBI, the banks, fintech, startups, and grateful to all of you. Thank you.
me begin by thanking all of you for attending this event. This is our 10th award ceremony. We started the Marico Innovation Foundation in the year 2003. So it's 22 years now. We do this event once in 2 years. At that time, when we started MIF, innovation was not on the horizon of many corporates. But today, if you ask any CEO, innovation is almost the top priority. Our objective of starting this foundation was to fuel innovation in India, in business as well as social circles. I was just going through the past winners and how have they done. I'll just give you a few examples. A winner in 2023, Dozy, which makes contactless remote monitoring device that transforms any bed into an ICU. They are currently deploying in 200 hospitals worldwide, covering more than 15,000 beds. And Dozy has helped save over 16,000 lives and 14 crores in nursing hours. Another organization which got an award in 2023, Khushi Baby, winner on the social category. It's reached over 3.5 crore beneficiaries and connected with more than 70,000 health workers since its launch. These are just two examples, but I can go on in terms of what these winners have done over a period of time. And I'm sure today's winner also will rise to greater and greater heights in future. We also do scale up as a part of our journey where we identify innovative organizations and help them scale up. And I've realized that many innovative organizations are innovative, but they don't have a business mindset. They don't know how to scale up. And this is what we do. We have all our Marico talent helping them. We're also working with about 30 ex-CEOs who help them. So we have made a big impact in terms of making them scale up. I'll just give two examples. S4S Technologies, which came to me about 4 or 5 years back. And they make innovative solar dryers. And they were making dryers for vegetables and fruits. And they told me that we want to launch a brand and we want to distribute. And my first reaction was, it's not easy to launch a brand, so please don't do that. There is enough of an opportunity for you to sell these products to the QSR restaurants and in the Horeca channel. So they changed the complete focus from launching their own brand to doing this on a B2B basis. And today, they are valued, I think, at about 1,000 crores. So these are the kind of shifts we bring in when we do the scale-up programs. We also work with Atomberg, which is a brushless DC motor scale-up, which has again become a Sunicon. And I think continuously we are working with many other organizations like this. At a time, we work with 20 organizations across agriculture, clean technology, and plastics and waste management. I would like to end the function by thanking all the people who have put in a lot of hard work, Team MIF, our esteemed jury members, our knowledge partner Deloitte, in selecting today's outstanding innovators. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mariwala. I request you to please stay on stage. We need a group photograph with you and our award winners. So I'd like to invite all our winners to the stage along with our governing council as well for a group photograph with Mr. Mariwala. Ladies and gentlemen, you can put your hands together and give them a welcome. And of course, a congratulatory round of applause that is truly well deserved.